9 years. That is how long it has been since a mosquito bit me at my own kitchen table. 9 summers. 9 August evenings on the porch with my wife and children. 9 years of sitting in the yard at dusk without a single bite, without a single spray can, without a single check written to a pest control company. My neighbors 2 fields over spend $150 every month from May through September. They still get bitten. They still slap their arms at dinner. They still pull their children inside before the sun goes down. I do not. And the difference between my farm and theirs is not luck, and it is not location, and it is not some expensive machine humming in the corner of the yard. It is knowledge, knowledge that is older than the pest control industry itself, knowledge that costs almost nothing to use once you have it, knowledge that the company driving the white spray truck down your road has known about for 40 years and never once mentioned at your door. My name is Elias Yoder. I am Amish. I farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I keep 11 hives of honeybees on this property. My wife tends a half-acre of flowers and herbs that the pollinators depend on. We have no electric bug zapper. We have no chemical company on a monthly contract. We have no fogger, no canister, no subscription to anything. What we have is the same understanding my grandfather had and his grandfather before him about where mosquitoes actually come from and how to stop them before they ever reach your porch. Today, I am going to give you that understanding completely. What it is, why it works, what it costs, and why nobody selling a monthly service will ever sit across from you at your kitchen table and explain it the way I am about to. Here is the single most important thing I can tell you. And if you stop watching after this sentence, you will still be ahead of most people. Every mosquito biting you in your own backyard was born in your own backyard, not in the woods, not at your neighbor's pond, not carried in on the wind from somewhere else, in your yard, in water, in standing water, and not very much of it. A bottle cap of water trapped in the fold of an old tarp is enough. A clogged gutter holding half a cup of rainwater for 4 days is enough. The saucer under the potted plant on your back step is enough. A female mosquito lays between 1 and 300 eggs at a time, and she needs less water than you can hold in your cupped hand to do it. That is the whole secret underneath the secret. The mosquito problem is a water problem, and a water problem is something you can solve yourself for almost nothing once you understand it. My grandfather knew this. Every Saturday morning in summer, he walked the entire property with an empty coffee can, and he tipped out every saucer, every bucket, every wheelbarrow, every fold in every tarp that had collected water during the week. He called it walking the line. It took him 20 minutes, and in the low spots he could not drain, the cattle trough, the rain barrel by the back door, the ditch along the fence line, he had a second method, a method that is the heart of what I am sharing with you today. He did not spray those places. He poisoned them, not with a chemical, with something alive. What my grandfather used and what I still use is called BTI. The full name is Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis. It is a bacterium, a living organism found naturally in soil all over the world, first identified in a desert pond in Israel in 1977. You do not need to remember the name. What you need to understand is what it does. When the larva of a mosquito, that tiny wriggling creature that hatches from the egg and lives in the water before it grows wings, when that larva swallows a particle of BTI, the bacterium creates a protein that tears a hole in the lining of the larva's stomach. The larva stops feeding. Within 24 hours, it is dead. It never becomes a flying mosquito. It never bites anyone. It never lays a single egg. And here is the part that separates BTI from every chemical spray ever sold out of a white truck. BTI kills only mosquito larvae, black fly larvae, and fungus gnat larvae. That is the complete list. It does not harm bees. It does not harm butterflies or dragonflies or beetles or earthworms. It does not harm fish or frogs or the songbirds drinking from your garden. It does not harm your dog, your chickens, your children, or you. The reason is the chemistry of the gut. The gut of a mosquito larva is alkaline in a very specific way, and the protein BTI produces only activates inside that exact chemistry. A honeybee's gut is different. A human gut is different. Everything else's gut is different. The protein passes right through without doing anything at all. Germany has used BTI in their National Mosquito Control Program since 1981. The states of Pennsylvania and Maryland use it. They drop it from low-flying aircraft over marshland. The World Health Organization has approved it. It is the most selectively safe pest control substance known to science, and it has been for 4 decades. You can buy it at any hardware store right now. It comes in 2 forms: a granular product called mosquito bits that looks like coarse orange sand, and a solid disc called a mosquito dunk that looks like a small brown donut. A bag of mosquito bits costs about $17 and treats water all summer long. A pack of mosquito dunks costs about the same. This is what the $150 monthly spray visit is competing against. This is why the lawn care company knocking on your door talks about their proprietary formula and their trained technicians and their satisfaction guarantee, and never once mentions the $17 bag sitting on the shelf at the hardware store 2 miles from your house. Here's exactly how I use it. For any standing water I cannot drain, I use the bucket method. A 5-gallon bucket, dark colored, orange or brown or black, never white, set in a shaded corner away from where my family sits. I fill it halfway with water and throw in a handful of grass clippings or dead leaves. The dark color matters because a female mosquito looking for a place to deposit her eggs is searching for water that resembles the dark shaded pools where her species has bred for millions of years. A white bucket in open sun looks wrong to her. A dark bucket in the shade looks like exactly what she wants. The grass clippings release compounds as they break down that mimic the smell of a natural breeding pool. I am not making a swamp. I am making a trap that smells and looks like a swamp. Then I sprinkle 1 heaping spoonful of mosquito bits across the surface of the water. Every egg laid in that bucket dies before it hatches. I refresh the bits every 2 to 3 weeks. That is the entire maintenance schedule for 1 bucket. I keep 3 buckets running from May through September. 1 behind the woodshed, 1 behind the bee yard, 1 tucked behind my wife's rosemary on the west side of the herb garden where she cannot see it and object to its appearance. For the rain barrel by the back porch, I drop in 1 mosquito dunk on the 1st of every month. For the gutters, I sprinkle a small amount of mosquito bits directly in after any heavy rain. Most people do not realize their gutters are their single largest mosquito breeding ground. A handful of pine needles holding a cup of water in a clogged gutter will produce hundreds of mosquitoes over the course of a summer. A $2 spoonful of BTI stops every single one. But the buckets and the dunks handle the eggs and the larvae. They do not handle the adults already flying around your yard from the generation before. For those, I use essential oils, not as a fogger and not sprayed into the air. During daylight hours, adult mosquitoes are resting. They are sitting on the cool shaded underside of leaves, tucked into the dense pockets of your shrubs and hedges, waiting for evening. If you spray the air, you are spraying where they are not. You want to spray where they are. I fill a pump sprayer with water and add cedar oil or a mixed essential oil mosquito repellent available at any garden store and I spray the underside of every leaf in every hedge and shrub around the house, the wood underneath the porch, the lattice panels, the back of the wood pile. Every adult mosquito resting in those places comes into contact with the oil and does not survive the night. I do this once every 2 to 3 weeks. It takes less than an hour. And because I am using plant oils and not synthetic pesticides, not one bee is harmed in the process. My grandmother had a third method she used at dusk when the family gathered on the porch. She took an old tin coffee can, punched a few holes in the side with a nail for airflow, placed a small piece of charcoal in the bottom, and laid a handful of dried herbs on top: rosemary, sage, dried lavender, sometimes mugwort in a bad summer. She lit the charcoal and let the herbs smolder slowly. The smoke kept every mosquito out of a 10-foot circle for as long as the herbs were burning. It smells the way a good kitchen smells, not chemical, not sharp, like something your grandmother would have cooking on a cool evening: a ceramic dish, a charcoal disc from the hardware store, herbs from the garden. That is the whole thing. It costs almost nothing, and it has been working on farms like mine for longer than the pest control industry has existed. 9 years without a bite, 3 dark buckets, a bag of BTI, a pump sprayer, and some cedar oil, a handful of dried rosemary in a tin can at dusk. That is the complete system. Total cost for the first summer is somewhere around $60. Every summer after that costs less than 30. The pest control company offering you a monthly spray contract for $150 a visit knows about BTI. They have known about it since before you were asking them for help. They choose not to mention it because a $17 bag that lasts all summer does not generate a monthly invoice. There is no profit in solving a problem permanently. There is enormous profit in managing it indefinitely. That is not a conspiracy. It is just how the money flows. This is how we have always done it. Not because we are smarter, because we had no choice. When you cannot drive to the hardware store and call the spray truck and sign the monthly contract, you figure out what actually works. And what works is understanding that the mosquito problem is a water problem, and the water problem is one you can solve yourself with $17.20 on a Saturday morning. Try the bucket this weekend. 1 dark bucket in a shaded corner, half full of water, a handful of grass clippings, 1 spoonful of mosquito bits. Come back in 2 weeks and tell me in the comments what happened. I read every single one. The people in my community already know this works. I am telling you because nobody else will. If this video helped you today, hit subscribe. Every week, I share the knowledge my grandfather kept. The methods the industry built to replace them would prefer stayed buried, and the simple tools that cost almost nothing and last a lifetime. Ring the bell so you do not miss what is coming next. And if someone in your life is spending money every month on a mosquito spray contract, share this video with them today. One share might be the most useful thing you do for someone this week. Until then, stay watchful, keep the water tipped out, and remember, the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember.